Hi folks, thank you for spending time on watching the Archeplay product demo. Archeplay is a low-code, cloud deployment automation platform for AWS. The platform helps software developers, testers, and DevOps engineers to deploy their entire stack of applications and infrastructure within 15 to 30 minutes, without writing any automation code. Before getting into the demo, let's understand Archeplay terminologies. Environment. The environment is a set of AWS resources automated for a specific use cases. For example, if you want to deploy an API, using auto-scaling with application load balancer, you need to deploy a set of resources such as fine-grained security group for auto-scaling and load balancer, fine-grained policy to access the other platforms, launch template and associated security group, key pair, instance types, auto-scaling group, auto-scaling policies, load balancer listener, target groups, and add the DNS for the load balancer endpoint in Route 53. Our environment provides thoroughly tested automation code, fine-grained security rules, and fine-grained IAM policies, customizable configuration, and handling of all the resources dependencies, using a set of AWS services for a specific use cases. Users are developers, testers, DevOps engineers, and administrators who want to automate the deployment of their environment stack using Archeplay. Admins are the users who have administrator access to the Archeplay platform to control access to the users and environment. AWS account, AWS cloud account and region where you will deploy the environments. Environment group is a logically grouped environment which is used for a specific purpose. In this demo app we have grouped according to the microservices of the demo application. Admins can provide access to the environment group, helps in easy accessibility and management of environments. Project is created per microservices team, to isolate the team resources from one another. When a microservices team onboarded to Archeplay platform, admin will start with creating a project. Add users to the project. Add AWS account. Give access to environment groups. Project environment are common environments deployed by the admin for the project. All project environments are shared to all the project users. For example, VPC is the project environment. Users can deploy the EC2 or RDS on top of the VPC. Now, we will look at the journey of users by deploying the sample e-commerce application using Archeplay. For this demo, we have created the project and assigned the project to the user. The user starts in an Archeplay by log in with his username and password. Choose the project they are part of. Users can view all the project environments deployed as part of the project. In the available and provisioned environment, they can view all environment groups they have access to. We will deploy sample e-commerce applications that have a front-end web app, product API, which provides all the product catalog, cart API, which is used to add the product to the cart or remove it from the cart. The architecture of the Product API. Product API stores all the product catalog on AWS NoSQL database DynamoDB. Product API runs on an EC2 auto-scaling group, which can scale up and down when the user scales up and down on the website. Product API EC2 instances are load balanced using application load balancer with TLS certificate. Product load balancer allows traffic from the internet on 443 port. The instance is allowed on port 80 from the application load balancer only. EC2 instances have read-write access to product DynamoDB via fine-grained IAM policies from instance only. Product API has DNS in the Route 53 domain. API is accessed via product endpoint. Product API has 3 actions: dump product, get all product, get product by ID. The architecture of Card API. Card API stores all the user's card information on AWS RDS MySQL database on private subnets. Card API runs on Docker containers on top of AWS Elastic Container Services. Card Docker containers code is cloned from GitHub. AWS Code Build will build the Docker images and push the Docker images to AWS Elastic Container Registry. Docker container runs on ECS with service auto-scaling, which will scale up and down when the load increases or decreases. ECS service containers are load balanced using application load balancer with TLS certificate. CART load balancer allows traffic from the Internet on 443 port. The ECS container is allowed on port 80 from the application load balancer only. ECS containers have access to CART RDS MySQL database on port 3306 from ECS containers only. CART API has DNS in the Route 53 domain. API is accessed via CART endpoint. CART API has 3 actions: add to cart, delete cart, get cart. The architecture of e-commerce web app. The e-commerce web app front-end is hosted on an S3 bucket that holds HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. S3 hosted website is cached on a CloudFront distribution web cache across the world. Access to S3 website is restricted via bucket policy only from a CloudFront distribution. CloudFront distribution is attached to TLS certificate for the Route 53 domain. Front-end code is cloned from GitHub. AWS Code Build will push the code to the S3 bucket. CloudFront distribution has DNS in the Route 53 domain. The e-commerce website is accessed via the Route 53 domain name. Now, let's deploy the product API. We have to follow the sequence of the environment in this diagram due to the dependency of one environment on the other. Product API has 3 environments. First, Product DynamoDB database with an environment named Product DB-DYNDB. Second, Product key pair to hold the SSH key for the Product EC2 instances, with an environment named Product key pair. Third, Product API with EC2 auto-scaling, application load balancer, security groups, IAM roles, Route 53 endpoints with environment named Product API ASG. Let's deploy Product DB DynamoDB by clicking Product API Group. Go to Available Environments. Choose Product DB-DYNDB environment. Click on Design. Now you can configure the DynamoDB table's name, primary key, and primary key type. Let's leave it to default since we have configured the application primary key as ID. This environment deploys the CloudFormation stack, which code is available for your review below. Click Next to review the design. Once reviewed the design, you can click on Deploy to deploy the environment. The environment is now getting provisioned. You can view the environment information in the Environment Info tab. Parameters you entered in the Parameter tab. The screen will get refreshed every minute until the environment gets provisioned. You can monitor the deployment progress in the Events tab. Once environment is deployed, you can view the environment configured output in the Output tab. Now Product DB-DYNDB is deployed, environment will be in running state once successfully deployed. Click on Output to view the output of the environment. When you make this environment depend on another environment, you can use this output as input to the dependent environment. Next, let's deploy the Product key pair environment. Click on Environments, Product API Group, Available Environments, Product key pair, and click on Design. Name of the key pair, let's leave it to default for this demo. This environment automation is written in Python and you can review the code. Click Next to review the design. Once reviewed, click Deploy to deploy the key pair. Once environment is deployed, you can view the environment configured output in the Output tab. Now product key pair is deployed. Next, let's deploy product API ASG. Click on Environments, Product API Group, Available Environments, Product API ASG. This environment is dependent on Project Environments VPC, ACM Certificate Public subdomain. Also depends on Product API Environment Product Key Pair, Product DB/DYN/DB. All the dependent environments should be in a running state before you can deploy this environment. We have all the dependent environments in running state, so we are ready to deploy. Click on Design. Now it will show all the dependent environments. If you have more than one dependent environment type, you can choose you need deploy on top of which dependent environment. For example, if you have 2 VPC, then you can choose which VPC you can deploy your environment resources. Thus, makes dependency simpler. Choose the dependent environment and click Next. Choose the configuration, let's leave default for this demo. Review the automation code. This automation code is written in CloudFormation. Click Next to review the design. Once reviewed, click Deploy to deploy the Product API ASG. Since this has multiple resources, it will take about 4 to 5 minutes to deploy. You can monitor the status in the Events tab. Once Project API is deployed, go to Outputs and get the Product API status URL. Open a browser tab, paste the URL. If the Product API is successfully deployed, it should return the status 200. Congratulations! You have deployed the Product API successfully. Now, let's deploy a Card API. We have to follow the sequence of the environment in this diagram due to the dependency of one environment on the other. Card API has 4 environments. First, Cart MySQL database with an environment named Cart DB MySQL. Second, create Docker image builder, AWS code build using Cart build Docker, which will pull the code from GitHub and build the image and push the image to AWS Elastic Container Registry. Third, start the image build process deploying Cart build Docker start. Fourth, deploy the ECS service, application load balancer using Cart API ASG. Let's deploy Cart DB MySQL environment. Click on Environments. Select the Cart API group. In the available environments, click on Cart DB MySQL. This environment is depend on VPC and make sure it is in running state. Click on Design. Choose the VPC you want to deploy the RDS. Click Next to design. Review the configuration of the database. Let's leave it to default for this demo. This automation code is written in CloudFormation. Review. When you are ready, click Next to review the design. Click on the Deploy button to deploy CartDB MySQL. RDS MySQL will take about 7 to 8 minutes to deploy. While it is deploying, let's deploy another environment in parallel. Deploy an environment with the name cart build Docker. This environment will build the Docker image for the Cart API. Click on Environments, select the Cart API group. In the available environments, click on Cart build Docker. Click on Design. Leave the environment name to default. This automation code is written in CloudFormation. Review the code. When you are ready, click Next to review the design. Click on the Deploy button to deploy Cart build Docker. Wait for the environment to be running. Once Cart build Docker is deployed, let's start deploying the next Cart build Docker start. This environment starts building the project, build and pushes the image to ECR. Click on Environments, select the Cart API group. In the available environments, click on Cart build Docker start. This environment is dependent on the environment, Cart build Docker. Make sure it is running. Click on Design. Select the Cart build Docker environment if you have multiple of them. Click Next to configure. Review the configuration. The code is written in Python. Review. Click Next to design. Once reviewed, click on Deploy. Wait for the environment in running state. Once Cart build Docker start is in running state, now go back to CartDB MySQL, make sure it is also in running state. Now we are ready to deploy Cart API ECS. Click on Environments, select the Cart API group. In the available environments, click on Cart API ECS. This environment is dependent on Project Environments VPC, ECS Cluster, ACM Certificate Public Subdomain. Also depends on Cart Environment CartDB MySQL, Cart Docker build start. All the dependent environment should be in a running state before you can deploy this environment. We have all the dependent environments in running state, so we are ready to deploy. Click on Design. Choose the dependent if you have multiple of them. Click Next to configure. Leave the parameter to default. For the purpose of this demo, this code I written in CloudFormation. Review. When you are ready, click Next to review the design. Once reviewed, click Deploy. Since this has multiple resources, it will take about 4 to 5 minutes to deploy. You can monitor the status in the Events tab. When Cart API ECS is deployed, go to Outputs. Copy the status URL. Open a tab on your browser and paste the URL. To validate your Cart API is up and running. If the Cart API is successfully deployed, it should return the status 200. Congratulations! You have deployed the Cart API successfully. Just a few steps away from seeing the whole application. Now let's deploy the e-commerce web. E-commerce web has 3 environments. We have to follow the sequence of the environment in this diagram due to the dependency of one environment on the other. There are 3 environments for e-commerce web app. First, e-commerce web with an environment which will deploy S3 bucket policy, CloudFront distribution and Route 53 entry. Second, e-commerce code push will deploy AWS code build project to perform the code push to S3. Third, EC code push start with a code push. Let's deploy e-commerce web by clicking Environment, e-commerce web group, Available environments, e-commerce web. Now choose the dependent environment ID of public subdomain and ACM certificate which are already deployed in project environment group. Click on Next to Design. Choose the dependent environment if you have multiple of them. Click Next to Configure. Review the configuration. Let's keep default for the purpose of this demo. This code is written in CloudFormation. Review. Once you are ready, click Next to Design. Once reviewed, click on Deploy to deploy the environment. The environment is now getting provisioned. This will take 5 to 6 minutes to deploy. You can monitor the deployment progress in the Events tab. While it is provisioning, we can deploy e-commerce code push. Click on Environments, e-commerce web group, Available environments, e-commerce code push. Click on Design. Parameters, let's leave it to default for this demo. Click Next to review the design. Click Deploy to deploy the e-commerce code push. Wait for the environment to be in running state. Once e-commerce code push is in running state, now let's deploy the e-commerce code push start. Click on Environments, e-commerce web group, Available environments, e-commerce code push start. This environment is dependent on e-commerce code push, e-commerce web, Card API ECS and Product API ASG. All these dependent environments should be in a running state before you can deploy this environment. Now click on Design. Select the environment ID of dependent environments if you multiple of them. Click on Next to Configure. Leave all the parameter values to default for this demo. This environment automation is written in Python. Review. Once ready, click on Next to review. Once reviewed, click Deploy. This is the last step for deploying demo e-commerce application. Wait for the environment to be in a running state. Once e-commerce code push start is in running state, go to the Output section. Copy the value e-commerce website endpoint. Open the new browser tab, paste the URL to access the e-commerce application. If you are able to see the list of products, then you are successfully deployed. The products are coming from Product API. Click on one of the products, and add to cart. If product is added to cart, then Cart API is working. Congratulations, you have successfully deployed your sample e-commerce application. Hope you have enjoyed the demo. Try yourself live by clicking on Try Now in https://archeplay.com. Follow this video to deploy. Check out the use cases of the product on archeplay.com website. If you like to contact us, go to https://archeplay.com and click on Talk to Us and book a meeting. We are eager to talk to you soon. Thank you for your valuable time.